All right, we're going to start with the basics of doing isometric sketching with AutoCAD. And the first thing you want to do is make sure that your settings are okay. So, main thing to check, if you go down here to customization with those little three bars, make sure that isometric drafting is check marked. And so we are good there. And if you notice, it pops up right in this spot right here. So we're going to go ahead and activate isometric drafting. And notice how the background changed from the orthographic grid that we had now to the isometric drawing. And what we're also going to do is hit restrict cursor orthogonally. And that's going to allow us to do certain angles for the shapes that we're doing. Now, if we're doing weird shapes, we're going to turn that off so that we actually connect things together. But for now, this is going to be a good thing to have. Now, if you notice over here in the isometric drafting, we can change it to the top plane if you want to create the top of an object. We can do the right plane if we want to create the right side of an object. But more useful than that, what you can do is hit F5 on the top of your keyboard, and that will allow you to shift between each of the planes, which is going to be much, much, much easier than going the other way. So go ahead and cycle through until you get the top plane like I have right here. And we're going to create just a cube. We're going to do 20 by 20 by 20 cube just to start us off. Doesn't really matter where we start, so I'm going to click here, and because we're locked in orthographically, I can only go in the directions of the top view, which is actually what we want. So let's go over here. I'm going to type in 20 and hit enter. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see it. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit 20 and hit enter. Do one more time, 20, and hit enter, and then we should be able to just latch it back to this spot right there. Okay, and I'm going to hit escape, and so this is the top part of our cube. So let's hit F5 and go to the front plane, and we're going to do the exact same thing, but create the front. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go straight down. I'm going to type in 20, hit enter. I'm going to type in, you guessed it, 20, and hit enter, and kind of close that stuff off. And let's go to the right side plane. I'm going to hit F5 a couple of times until we get this plane right here. Now, one super neat trick that we can do, and I would advise you do this as much as you can, is instead of drawing these two, we can also just copy things we've already created. So, for example, if I want this to go over here, I'm going to click on that part. I'm going to go up to copy, and I'm going to click on what I want the base point to be. So I'm going to click on this spot. I'm going to tell it to go over here, and it creates that exact line for me. I can do the same thing with this guy right here. Actually, no, I probably shouldn't because that's a different angle. I probably just need to connect those guys. So there's our basic cube. That's going to be kind of the backbone for our part. So now let's talk about circles in isometric views. So if I were just to grab a normal circle like we have up here, even if I'm in the right side view, that doesn't look right. Like it's not angled to the plane that we want. So I'm going to hit escape and get out of here. So what we actually have to do is come up here to the ellipses and go axis end. And there's a special little setting down here that says ISO circle. So that will allow us to create a circle on the face that we want. So let's create that little circle. I'm going to try to grab that midpoint. So I'm going to hover over here and bring it to the mid. Do the same thing up top. See if we can't connect those two together. There we go. And this one, I believe, has a diameter of 5. So I'm just going to type in, let's see, D to do diameter, and then hit 5. And there's our little circle right there, just like we want it. Okay, so next thing, let's make those weird little legs that are popping off the side here. So I'm going to cycle through to the top plane, and I'm just going to draw the little rectangle that's jutting out from here. So I'm going to grab my line tool. I'm going to come out and type in 10, hit enter. I'm going to go over 5, hit enter, and I'm going to go back in that direction 10 again. And I could do that 3 more times, or I can be a little bit sneaky with this, and I'm actually going to copy this. So I'm going to click the 3 things that I want to copy right here, hit copy. And let's see, I'm going to grab this as my endpoint to start off with, and I want it to latch on right to that spot. Okay, I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to do that one more time. So I'm going to go over here, over here, over here. I'm going to go up to copy again, and this time I want my base point to be here. So I can latch onto that corner piece and I can latch onto that bottom piece. Notice how the preview doesn't always show you exactly where you want to go, but your snaps should work for you. And then it's just a matter of connecting those lines straight down. So I'm going to shift my plane to the front side. I'm going to grab a line and connect those two. And you are more than welcome to connect all those with the line. I'm going to be a little bit sneaky. I'm going to copy one more time. So I'm going to grab this point and I'm going to say copy right here, copy right here, copy, come on, here, and copy here. Since I know those are all the same length, then it doesn't matter that much. Okay, looks like we have the legs. Let's trim it up a little bit. So I'm going to grab my trim tool and just kind of anything that has a flat face, I'm going to trim that stuff away. So I'm going to click on this guy. So since we can't see through this stuff, I'm going to get rid of that. Going to get rid of this. And then this guy. Okay. So it looks like all we have left is kind of that weird curve going on in the back. So I know that is a half circle. So I need to go up and grab my ellipse tool, right? My axis end. And I want to be in the top plane, so I'm going to hit F5 again until I get my top plane selected. And remember, for our circles, we want to pick isocircle. So that will set our circles up exactly for us. So then the center of my circle is going to be here. And I don't even need to measure it. I'm just going to pull it all the way out to the outside right there. Okay. And that actually looks pretty good. So let's be sneaky again. I'm going to hit that circle because I want it to be down below as well, so I know that the circle is correct. I'm going to hit copy. I think I want my base point to be this guy. And I'm going to latch it right on there and hit escape. So our last thing is we just need that line to come down to that spot and we can just trim up. So I'm going to make sure that my quadrant is active, which is good. And I'm just going to grab a line. I don't need to switch planes because I should be able to just snap to these different spots. So I'm going to grab my quadrant. I'm going to bring it straight down and we are good to go. So the last thing I need to do is trim this up, get rid of that stuff, get rid of this. We don't need this. We don't need that. And we definitely don't need that. And we are done with our first shape.